In the 1960s, the Las Vegas Strip was flush with cash. Beneath the bright neon lights, massive casino floors operated as playgrounds for the wealthy, governed by strict rules of racial segregation. Yet the entertainers who actually packed those showrooms every night were often Black superstars, drawing tens of thousands of tourists. Musical giants like Nat King Cole routinely anchored these high-end performances, while artists like Louis Armstrong brought in undeniable, explosive brass energy to the desert. Performers like Pearl Bailey established the highest standard of elegance and cultural status during this golden age of Vegas entertainment. But when the curtain closed, the rules changed. These same headliners were forbidden from sleeping in the hotel beds they performed under. They were barred from eating in the resort restaurants or placing a single bet on the casino floors. The glittering resorts happily profited off Black talent, while strictly excluding Black humanity. Faced with these rigid barriers, the Black community responded by building a parallel world entirely of their own. They built it in historic West Las Vegas. The epicenter was Jackson Street, a thriving commercial district that locals quickly dubbed the Strip of the West Side. To meet the massive demand for luxury accommodations, investors broke ground on a modern 5-story concrete structure at 400 West Jackson Street in 1961. They named it the Carver House, honoring the legendary agricultural scientist George Washington Carver. By 1965, the property evolved into the Cove Hotel. It maintained upscale dining and hosted legendary after-hours jam sessions where Strip headliners could finally relax and play freely. This venue possessed something extremely rare, a legal, state-sanctioned gaming license. The floor buzzed with high-energy blackjack, craps, and rows of slot machines. Because Jim Crow laws barred African Americans from spending their money downtown or on the Strip, those dollars stayed right here. It created a captive market that drove massive wealth directly into this specific neighborhood block. Jackson Street served as a fully self-sustaining ecosystem of Black commerce and unapologetic excellence, providing a safe, luxurious haven against the realities of a segregated America. Alongside the thriving nightlife, community leaders and NAACP representatives waged a relentless legal and social battle for integration. Their efforts culminated in the March 1960 Moulin Rouge Agreement, a pact that officially ended racial segregation across Las Vegas resorts. It was a monumental, hard-fought triumph for human rights. For the first time, anyone could walk through the front doors of the city's largest establishments. While this legal victory solved a deep moral crisis, it also triggered an immediate and devastating economic shock for the West Side. With major resorts finally integrated, Black tourists and entertainers took their money directly to the world-famous Strip. The captive market sustaining Jackson Street vanished overnight. The Cove Hotel faced insurmountable financial strain, unable to compete with the sheer scale of the major resorts. Deprived of its economic lifeline, the Cove Hotel halted casino operations. By the late 1960s, the property quietly closed its doors as a luxury resort. The Cove Hotel became an economic casualty of the very civil rights progress its patrons had spent decades fighting to achieve. Integration removed the social barriers that had inadvertently protected the West Side's business model. Into the 1970s, the 5-story concrete building sat quiet. While legal segregation had ended, systemic civic neglect left historic West Las Vegas cut off from basic medical and social resources. A fierce welfare rights activist named Ruby Duncan, along with a determined collective of neighborhood women, formed a nonprofit called Operation Life to combat this ongoing neglect. They recognized the empty structure at 400 West Jackson Street could serve a new purpose. The women orchestrated a radical takeover of the abandoned hotel. The women repurposed the old luxury casino floor and hotel suites, installing the West Side's first medical clinic, a job training hub, and a federal WIC site that distributed food to thousands of families. Where tourists once rolled dice, neighborhood children now received early childhood screenings and vaccinations. The community successfully reclaimed its abandoned monuments to build its own engines for survival. The building stood until the late 1980s, when it was ultimately demolished. Today, the lot sits vacant, but the soil remains rich with history. Over 3 decades, this single piece of land lived 2 distinct lives. It was a luxurious safe haven for excluded stars navigating Jim Crow America, and later, a radical front line for community healthcare and economic independence. Both eras demonstrate the same resilience. The legacy of 400 West Jackson Street is proof that Black excellence is the unbreakable ability to build your own table when society denies you a seat.